to address also the ethical issues. The manipulation of living organisms by the human race cannot go on any further without regulation. Some ethical standards are required to evaluate the mortality of all human activities that might help or harm the living organisms. Going beyond the mortality of such issue. If we are doing, we should not go to the killing of or harming any living organisms. Right? So, the biological significance of such things are also important. Genetic modification of organisms have unpredictable results when such organisms are introduced into the ecosystem. Therefore, the Indian government has set an organization such as Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, which will make decisions regarding the validity of genetically modified research. Means they have to provide their ideas to this and they have to accept whether this will be applicable or not, whether this will come to the ethical issue or not, and the safety of introducing genetically modified organisms for public services. The modification usage of living organisms for public services as food and medicine resources, for example, can also create problems with patents generated for the same. There is a growing public anger that certain companies are being granted patents for products and technologies that make use of the genetic materials, plants and other biological resources that have long been identified, developed and used by the farmers and indigenous people of a specific region or country. So we cannot explore that. We cannot exploit that. Rice is an important food grain, the presence of which goes back thousands of years in Asian agricultural history. There is an estimated 2 lakhs varieties of rice in India alone. The diversity of rice in India is one of the richest in the world. The basmati rice is distinct for its unique aroma and flavor, and 27 documented varieties of basmati are grown in India. This is reference to basmati in ancient text, folklore and poetry, as it has more grown for centuries. In 1997, an American company got patent rights on basmati rice through US Patent and Trademark Office. This allowed the company to sell a new variety of basmati in the US and abroad. So the new variety of basmati has actually derived from Indian farmer varieties only. Indian basmati was crossed with semi-draft varieties and claimed as an invention and novelty. So the patent extend to functional equivalence, implying that other people selling basmati rice could be restricted by the patent. Several attempts have also been made to patent uses, products and processes based on Indian traditional herbal medicine. Turmeric, neem. If we are not vigilant and we do not immediately counter these patent applications, other country individuals may encash our rich legacy and we may not be able to do anything about it. Biopiracy. What is this biopiracy is the term used to refer the use of bioresources by multinational companies and other organizations without prior authorization from the countries and people concerned without compensatory payment. They have to give a compensatory payment. Most of the industrialized nations are rich financially but poor in biodiversity. So traditional knowledge. So in contrast, the developing and underdeveloped world is rich in biodiversity and traditional knowledge related to bioresources. So traditional knowledge is related to bioresources, can be exploited to develop modern applications and can also be used to save time, effort and expenditure during their commercialization. There have been growing realization of injustice, inadequate compensation and benefit sharing between developed and developing countries. Therefore, some nations are developing law to prevent such unauthorized exploitation of the bioresources. And traditional knowledge. The Indian Parliament has recently cleared the second amendment on Indian Patents Bill that takes such issues into consideration, including patent terms emergency provisions and research and development initiatives. Yes, this is all about ethical issues.